Hey, you doing, guys? It's Ash here from the Gooders and Blues Supporters Club Ireland, and this week's Monday supplement. And unfortunately, it is not the most pleasant of supplements to be talking about. Obviously, we're talking about the dire performance and the most embarrassing performance by the team yesterday against, I suppose, what the media is now calling the Liverpool under 23s. And not that we know too much about their squad, but I don't believe it's their players that regularly play in the under 23s. I think they're not doing that great in it either. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't been looking at the table in regards to how they're getting on. But in comparison to what our under 23s in the last couple of seasons, obviously winning the title, and we're kind of hoping that the young players are going to progress and come through into the squad. And by Christ, I think some of them we actually need at this stage. Um, when I walked into the Mercantile yesterday, the first thing I said to Brenda was, "Did you see that team that was put out?" And like, oh yeah. So the way I looked at it was, if we won that game, Liverpool could turn around and say, sure, you only beat our youngsters, you only beat this, and we didn't really want to win the FA Cup. The usual thing that generally happens with the League Cup. I don't care what anyone says. Every club usually takes the FA Cup quite seriously, especially as the rounds go on. The bigger teams, they kind of one or two of the youngsters might stay in, or clubs like ourselves, it should always be playing the full strength squad. It is still a massive big club competition for any team. Anyway, the other side of it was, if the unthinkable happened, which it did eventually happen yesterday, it would lead to the most probably embarrassing moment that I can think of, for the club. It's like, as I was joking yesterday, the Slippy G moment. For all that Steven Gerrard has won in his time playing football, whether it was a Champions League or whether it was a League Cup or it's an FA Cup or whether it was this or was that, or he won a youth trophy, and that kind of stuff. Regardless of who he was playing for, he'll only be remembered for that one time, that one thing, and that was the slip against Chelsea. And pretty much after him saying that we won't let this slip, that's what he's remembered by, especially from us Evertonians. But it's like we can go on. If we did go on, for instance, and it was a different competition. Say we were still in the League Cup and we won the League Cup, and we got a top six for somehow we finished top six in the Premier League this season. We'll always be forgotten for remembered that season for losing the FA Cup game against a bunch of kids, or as I nicknamed yesterday, the Calpol kids. As you can tell by the match reaction yesterday, I was really, really annoyed. That's why there was some expletives there. I've had time to calm down and think back over what happened yesterday, but it doesn't make it hurt any less, guys. I don't know what you feel, but it was definitely an embarrassing moment. And obviously, friends of mine who are Liverpool supporters, within moments of the game being over, we got nothing but, I wouldn't go as far as abuse, because obviously it deep down it's banter. That they're not trying to rile you or anything, but all the jokes were coming in and different things. About the three or four kids in the bath, and it was like saying the Liverpool team enjoying their win. All that kind of stuff, jokes. And then it was a hard one to take at the time, and I suppose it still is a hard one to take. Once we saw that team being announced by Liverpool, this was our chance, not just to beat Liverpool at Anfield, but to progress in the club in the cup. Because at the end of the day, now the way we are playing, some teams we were beating. Like, we did well to beat Chelsea. Let's be fair. We did extremely well to beat Chelsea. We did a good job roughly against Newcastle and Burnley. We got the job done. We drew with Manchester United, but it's the games like we played previously against Sheffield United, Brighton, all those kind of games that we should be beating. Teams we should be beating week in, week out. No disrespect to those clubs, we should be beating them all the time, regardless. Um, it's cost us anyway, kind of a chance. Like, if we won those 5 or 6 games that we opened up the season with, we would have been should have been in the top end of that table. And obviously, as the games went on, and then we could be if we did lose the games against Liverpool, losing the games against City or Arsenal, the main top 6 teams, we still would have enough points tallied to be in around the kind of the 6, 7, 8, maybe even ninth spot. And with the points tally to keep coming, we have a chance of still qualifying into that the main top 6, which, where a club like ourselves, we want to and should be at. Not looking at Sheffield United doing fairly well in the league, and you're going like, where the hell, what's happened to them? And obviously what happened to Leicester a couple of seasons ago, they came from nothing to actually winning the damn thing. So we should be having the same aims as these clubs have. Not again, no disrespect to Leicester City. They've done well. They've been able to recruit well, and they're doing well in the league. Sadly, not enough to catch the other shower. But what can you do? We just have to prepare ourselves for May when that happens, unless something weird really goes on. But it just goes to show, you can what do you say about the team? Okay, it was a relatively, strong team that went out. Um, is it a case the players aren't good enough? Is it a case of the players are getting their wages and they don't care, or is it just they don't care? Um, it's a very difficult one. Like, we can't really say about Richarlison, because again, Richarlison didn't have his best game yesterday, but he works. He has definitely, as I said before, he has improved. He's not throwing himself on the floor anymore. Um, and I felt sorry for the fans yesterday, because for as everyone knows, I'm always giving out sometimes about Goodison, especially when you're watching on the TV. Unless we have the microphones and the TV in the most weirdest places in the world, you cannot hear the crowd cheering uh, during the matches, and it's just really weird. The only time we actually hear it, you might hear it when we're on the attack and we score a goal, then there's a cheer for a couple of minutes, and then bang, with a click of a finger, we're going back to being Silent Park yesterday. Where yesterday at Anfield, the 8,000 or so that was there, you could hear them, especially in the first half. The first half, let's be fair, and if any Liverpool fan says otherwise, they are what we would normally call them deluded, because we were all over them that first half, and I had to laugh on Air Sport. I can't remember the commentary guy, but on Air Sport, when they were talking about the first half kind of game talk, they said really nothing about us, but said that Liverpool had dominated possession. They had 58%. That's not dominating Possession. If it was 70%, you say okay, but 58% out of 100 is not dominating possession. So he needs to go back and have a little word with himself. But the chances that we had, unfortunately, as was mentioned yesterday, every single shot, unfortunately, every single header just was right at the keeper. You could say, okay, Adrian had one of his best games he's probably had in years. Just everything was at him. Mason Holgate, sadly, just anywhere else but straight at the keeper, and it was a goal. DCL had a no, well, I suppose it was quite a high ball. He just missed. There was a chance for a diving header. Um, Others then just peppered the goalkeeper, and he just saved them. He was in the right spot at the right time, doing what a goalkeeper is supposed to do. And then just unfortunately, this young Jones lad just decided to take his moment and just picked one out of the air. And as I said, I probably mentioned it yesterday. Lads like that, when it kind of hurts when they score against your own club. But the thing I'm gonna, for that lad is he could end up not being anything in football. He could just move on, and end up being a championship or Division 1 player. Whether he plays regularly for them, I don't know. But just when you see that squad yesterday, you're thinking on one side of you saying, yes, this is it we should be doing. And the way we started that game, in the first half an hour, we could have been 3-0 up, 4-0 up by the end of the first half. It was just unbelievable. Takes the next when we came out at second half, what did Carlo Ancelotti say to them? Apart from there was once or twice where Liverpool, they were trying to, we were kind of we let them back into the game in a certain way that, okay, we felt that we were going to be able to get them on the counter attack, and we're going to definitely score on the counter attack because of the way we were playing. So we kind of invited them on, let them come towards us, and then we would break from the box. Not in the fastest way, but when we did get it going, DCL did hold up the ball a couple of times, and like what they did with Tim Cahill at the end, towards the end of his Everton career, what they did was they decided, let's double up on DCL, and they stopped him. Like, it's like as I said to the lads yesterday, with Tim Cahill, you stopped Tim Cahill from jumping, he wouldn't score goals, and that's what they did yesterday with DCL. They just marked him out of the game, and he slowly fell out of the game. So we started then, instead of going long, we started passing the ball. Again, it was passed very, very slowly, but we were getting forward. But then once that second half came out, I don't know what happened to the team, what Carlo or Dunk said to the team, but it was not the same team that came out. It was like the heads looked the same, but the players, the bodies were not the same. It wasn't the same intensity. We had nothing. And if I remember correctly from the stats, we had 8 shots on goal, and I think 6 of them were on target, if I remember correctly. But we got nothing on target or no shots on goal in the second half. So that makes you say, what in the sweet Jesus happened in that second half. Um, the only thing that was the same in the second half as ending the first half, we just let them invite on, and they came on and came on and came on, and then once Jones got the goal, then you could just see it there. My eye never took off Origi. I was waiting for Origi to get another, two goals before the end, because he always scores against us now in the last couple of games, as is Jesus for City, and so you can see the lads in the mercantile. They just knew then this was a thing that we never thought was going to happen, that we're going to get embarrassed by uh, a younger team. And the lads that, as I said, I don't believe they play on a regular basis for the under 23, so that made it even more difficult to take. And be perfectly honest with you, I have stayed off the social media, or Sky Sports today, because obviously Sky Sports Red, as I call them, or I suppose they were well on it today, and they're getting the digs in. Some of the lads there yesterday, I saw it on Facebook yesterday evening. They were interviewing, I can't think who it was for Liverpool, but then he turned around and apparently said something on the lines of, "We are the best team in Liverpool." Fact, all this kind of shit. Like your man, the right back there last year, all the stupid comments that he made. So because of that, I said I wasn't going to piss myself off anymore by going into social media. Well, now the next game now is Burnley, and thankfully it's a home game. Hopefully something is, Carlo yesterday evening, walking back to Goodison. Hopefully it said something to the guys yesterday or in training today, because it is still very, very tight in that league. Let's just be fair. The season is over. If we finish in the top 8, that would be it for us. There's no more cups. There's no more no more exciting, I suppose, things to do until something miraculously might happen in the next couple of months in regards to getting points on the board. But our season has ended in January, basically. It's such a shame. Um, where can we go from there? Like Aaron from the club, he's heading over now with a few of his friends. They're going over for the game against Brighton, and you're saying to yourself, oh, to go over to watch that, like, any of the fans that would have went over to Anfield yesterday to watch that game would have got such heart from the first half an hour, to just have it all taken away in that second half, and then obviously that goal. And they will be thinking, let's be fair, we're, as football fans, we wear our hands on our hearts and our sleeves, and we just don't know where it goes next. And anyone who's travelling over will be thinking, okay, please, 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 let this be a game where I can enjoy it, and let's get a win and get 3 points and come back home as happy as Larry, saying that you've witnessed something amazing, you've witnessed a win. Um, so there is a lot of that in regards to fans. It makes them scared going over. Maybe that shows on the touchlines, the crowd not getting behind the team. I just don't know. But the 8,000 fans that were there yesterday, you can hear them, and they were constantly singing. So I don't know what it is about Goodison, that the ground is so quiet during games, and seems to be no atmosphere at times. So maybe, as I said, maybe it's something to do with the microphone positioning. I don't know, but all 19 grounds can't be as noisy, and us being the silent one. But that's just me. Anyway, um, just briefly finishing up. I hope all the Liverpool fans got home safe back to Norway yesterday. Actually, there's a lad on one of the YouTube pages. He was making a comment slagging off Everton for losing against the bunch of kids, and I just jokingly with him, saying, I hope you catch your flight back to Norway. And oh my God, he took huge offense to it, and I just like, lighten up, dude. You guys won, we lost. I'm still happier than you. Uh, it's a joke, grow the hell up. But anyway, I didn't respond back to him. Sorry, he didn't respond back to me, so I think he just gave up. But that's just typical. We lose a game, but we can still be happier than them, because they're never happy. Like, as I mentioned yesterday, and another friend of mine, that a guy that I work with, he's a Liverpool supporter, and he's not even old enough to remember when they last won the title, but yet he's one of them. Like most red shites, they believe that even though they haven't won it since the Ice Age, that it's still theirs and they own it. That's like if we turn around and say we own the FA Cup since '95, but we hadn't actually won it. It's no wonder the world of football goes against them. But anyway, this is about obviously Everton. We'll finish up by saying nice crowd again yesterday. Even hung around for a couple of hours afterwards. Yarrick, of course, and the rest of the team looked after us. Bit of grub, nice grub by the way, and a couple of pints. And it was just it was a nice ending to what was a very very poor performance. But we did enjoy the crack after all. We are Evertonians, and as the old saying goes, we do go again. And obviously, the next game will be against Brighton. Let's hope it is a severe in improvement on the game, because obviously, the guys on the pitch yesterday would have definitely taken a beating. Not just on the body but on the mind, that after losing that game yesterday, and I'd say even their friends would have been slagging them off jokingly over the result yesterday. So let's just hope the game against Brighton, and for Aaron's sake and all the other members who are heading over to that game this weekend, let's hope that you do get a lucky one and you do get to bring home some points with you. Because the season, from that point of view, is not over. We know from the bottom end of the table, we still need to work our backsides off to make sure that we stay out of that. So hopefully by March, we will have a better idea of exactly where we are and where we're going to be moving. But again, put your comments in there whether you feel it was more that the team didn't give a monkeys, or the players aren't good enough. Do they care or not? It for me. It's a bit of both. I think there's a mixture there of players that don't care, players who just want to move on and maybe go to somewhere else. And even people were saying yesterday, because the transfer window was on, if by chance a bigger enough money came in for Gylfi Sigurdsson, would they take him? I probably would. I'd let him go. Anyway, that's it from the Monday supplement. Hope it hasn't been too boring for you. At least it's different from the rant yesterday. Until then, guys, we're always Blues. We'll always be the People's Club. Have a good one, guys, and talk to you later.